Good evening. Can you guys hear me? Okay. All right. Thank you, Florida man. Gonna wait a couple of minutes for everybody to get logged on. And I'll do some giveaways tonight. If I can just figure out how to work this. Thank you. If you guys will retweet this, that would be great. Just gonna do Futures of Basics, the pretty much the same stuff that I do all the time for those that are wanting to learn and get started with trading futures, and this is beginner friendly. Buckle in, everyone. Oh gosh, Fenster, you cannot win any accounts tonight. I'm sorry. You show up and answer the questions. Gotta let others do it, okay? I'll wait a few minutes because I'm gonna. Hold on a second. As others are kind of hopping on, I'm going to go over futures basics. So basically, everything that you need to know how to trade futures, whether you are funded with your own personal account or whether you are using prop firms. And basically, if you know, beginner friendly. So And I'll also answer all of the questions at the end. Um, there are no stupid questions, guys. We were all in a place before where we didn't know what futures trading was. We didn't know what options trading was. We didn't know what any of it was. So any questions, jot it down, and I will go over everything at the end. So and I'll also actually demonstrate. I put up my demo account, so just how it moves and how to like um, trade. Right now we are in Asia market, so let's see. Okay. And pay attention to some of the stuff that I'll say because I'll do a trivia at the end, and whoever answers correctly, I will do some giveaways. Okay. If no one answers, you'll nominate someone. All right. That sounds good. You guys don't worry about if it's a wrong answer. I mean, it's just supposed to be a little bit fun. Come on. All right. Well, if others join later, they can come back and watch this. All right. Well, if others join. Okay. Or how about I wait until 200? Because by the end, there's like 700 or 800 people to hop on. Later, they can, All right, and there's 200. So, um, okay. Just trying to find something quickly. All right, guys. Well, my name is Jasmine, and I'm going to teach futures basics. So everything you need to know how to get started, trading futures, whether it's with your own account, so your own personal funds, with traditional brokers, or whether it's through specialized futures brokers or with prop firms. So I'll go over everything pretty much that you would need to know. And like I said, I will answer questions at the end. There are no dumb questions. We have all been um, at a starting point, whether it's, when we started trading, whether it was trading options, I mean, crypto, anything. So jot those questions down. I'll go in at the end and help you guys answer those for you. Also, I will do a trivia. I'll do some trivia questions and give away some accounts, and also give away some free um, subs to Traders Wealth Lounge Premium for a month. Okay, so let's get started. All right, so Futures 101. So what are futures? Futures trading is a contract between a buyer looking to invest and a seller where the contract is made for the future and has an expiration date. And there are two participants, hedgers and speculators. So hedgers protect their assets from risks, and speculators are usually floor traders. So as retail traders, we are considered speculators. Futures contracts are available on 5 different assets, which is equity index futures, interest rate futures, commodity futures, currency futures, and metal futures, and they all have expiration dates. So NinjaTrader and Trade08, or your broker, whatever you're using, um, AMT, or if you're using Webull, Interactive Broker, they're all going to automatically prompt you to roll over. And as you can see here, it's going to just say like an auto rollover notification, the name, and then you just click update and it will update it itself. So equity index futures typically expire quarterly, which is on a third Friday of every third month. So S&P 500, which is ES, and and NASDAQ expire quarterly, March, June, September, and December. However, interest rates, oil, so commodity, currency, metal like gold and silver, they expire monthly. So if you're trading those, you're going to see this more often. So basically the purpose of this is to teach some of the fundamentals of how futures work and how you can trade them on your own account and how you can get funded accounts, since I believe that many would benefit from adding futures trading to their skill set. So I'm going to start with some of the key terminologies. You don't have to know all of these or memorize them by any means, but you're going to hear them, especially the first couple, more so than not. So basically, lot or contract is the unit of the instrument. So if I say I'm going in with 5 NQs, just means 5 contracts of NASDAQ. Tick is the smallest price movement that a futures contract can make. Point is a $1 move or one handle. Globex is an electronic trading platform used for derivative, futures, and commodity contracts. However, traders also use the term Globex to mean overnight session of the market. So right now, it's the Asian market, and if somebody's trading this, or if they trade like the European markets, which is in the middle of the night, they'll say, "Oh, I was trading Globex." Okay. RTH is the regular trading hours for a specific exchange or market center, typically during the New York Stock Exchange Open. Contract month is the month in which a futures contract expires, and the delivery month in which the underlying assets of a futures contract is delivered. Margin is the amount of money required to be deposited by a trader to open a futures position. Okay. You don't really need open interest is obviously the outstanding futures contracts in the market, and then the settlement price is what futures contracts settle at the end of the trading day. Let's move on to the next. This right here is going to be kind of like your cheat sheet. You can always reference back to this. I'll show you guys where to find this. It's on this website. It's free. But first off, market is essentially futures. So frequently we discuss ES, which the S&P 500 futures are those. Although these futures trade or are traded similarly to other derivatives, leverage is what they have above all else. So futures trading is simply a very leveraged form of stock trading. There's no theta, there's no Greeks, there's no, IV compared to when you're trading options. So this is more akin to trading stocks. Okay, so to contrast with futures, an E-mini S&P 500 futures contract offers roughly a 32-to-1 leverage. So because ES trades in ticks, aka a 0.25 spread, one contract changes value by $12.50 for every 0.25 it moves. So you gain or lose $50 when ES moves 1 point. So, for example, if ES changes by 10 points, then you either win or lose $500. And 1/10 of an ES contract is a micro, which is called an MES. So instead of the $50 per point, it is $5 for each point on MES. So simply, it's 1/10 of the same stuff. Okay. Let me see something if this is in the next slide. No. Okay. So here you can see where it says ES, and it's got minimum ticks is 0.25. So every quarter that it moves, it's going to move $12.50. If you're trading the micro version, minimum tick is still 0.25. However, it is $1.25. So think of the way you can think of it is kind of like trading SPY and SPX. You know, think of ES as like the SPX and MES as the SPY. Okay, and for Nasdaq, which is I trade majority of the time is NQ. That is, you know, comparative to like NDX and the mini, or sorry, the micro version of it, the MNQ, is 1/10 of the size, and it's kind of like QQQ. Okay, so it moves the same way. If SPY is moving, you know, up, that's what S&P 500. That's what ES is. If you know QQQs are moving one way, that's what Nasdaq is going to do, and the Russells. So, but to compare how not all of them have, clearly not all of them have the same tick, but to compare, when I got started over 3+ years ago trading futures, I came from options, and before that I was doing small caps. So I had no idea what futures were back then. There weren't very many people trading futures. There weren't very many prop firms, and you know, it was kind of like an up and coming thing. Top Step was obviously around, but I decided to trade oil. So I had a lot of trial and error back then, and a lot of money lost, you know, just trying to learn on your own. And so I traded oil, and I was down, it barely moved. And I'm like, how am I down $80 and it hasn't even moved? Well, I didn't know that for each penny, so 0.01, that's the minimum tick, is $10. So it was only down 8 cents or 8, you know, pennies, and I was down $80. Now, it's not a big deal that it, you know, but I didn't know that each penny was moving $10, you know, at a time. So CL basically for one tick or one point, which is a $1, so it's $1,000. So if CL is trading at $60 and it goes to $61, so that $1 move is $1,000 for one contract. So that's kind of you know, how you can see that they're not all the same. You know, you just got to see what the minimum movement is, especially if you're trying to trade any currency. Futures market is open 23 hours a day. You must close out your position typically by 4:59 p.m. Eastern. If you're trading on, you know, funded prop accounts, you got to check their times because not everybody does the same thing. I think Top Step closes at 4:10 p.m. But many other firms allow you to trade, like Apex and others allow you to trade up to like 4:59 p.m. So it opens on Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern and closes Friday at 4:59 p.m. Eastern. The best times to trade are typically during the New York session and or during the European markets, which is in the middle of the night, just because there's a lot more volume. So also, you would need to check that during the holiday as hours may vary. So, for example, Labor Day, Monday, New York Stock Exchange was closed, but futures were open. We were open from that Sunday night at 6 p.m. and closed at 1 p.m. That Monday. So that's kind of a little bit different. So basically, the distinction is that when you purchase or sell a contract, you're not purchasing ES shares. Therefore, it costs the same amount of money to buy or sell one contract regardless of the price at which ES is trading. And margin is a term for that. Okay, so TOS and IBKR, you would need around 23K for the initial balance or for the full margin, and that's for one single ES contract. Okay, but for a broker that specializes in futures, as a result, it's actually fairly affordable, making it a good choice for those that feel comfortable trading their own money. And also, margins do change based upon news events. So, if you have, Interactive Broker or TOS or whatever, you would need to contact them and apply for futures trading. Okay, and then here you can see for the micro, it's like $2,300, and then for one ES, which is the mini, it's like $23,000. But if you use a broker that specializes in futures, such as NinjaTrader or Tradeovate, AMT is one of them, Webull, you want to check to see what their margin requirements are, but they offer what's called reduced intraday margins. Okay, and those intraday margins are currently available from 6 p.m. Eastern until 4:45 p.m. Eastern the following day. Okay, and the initial margin is required from 4:45 p.m. until 6 p.m. Eastern. So if you are holding that position or during the weekend, that's considered like swing trading or hold. That's considered holding overnight, even though it's only like an hour and 15 minutes. But if you are trading, if you're using the day trading margins, then the micro contracts. So instead of the $23,000 for traditional brokers, Tradeovate offers a $500 to $1,000 day trading margin for E-mini, contracts. Micro contracts are even more affordable because MES costs only $50 day trading margin, and MNQ costs $100. So this is for the day trade margin only. Like I said, overnight positions require the full margin, which is that hour and like 15 minutes. If you're trading NQ, it's $1,000 for the day margin. However, if you are trading, like wanting to swing trade, one NQ is $33,000. So let's go on to the next. So right here, this is you would want to check with your broker because this is from, I think, NinjaTrader or Tradeovate. Well, NinjaTrader owns Tradeovate, so it's kind of the same thing. So if you see here where it says initial margin 23,470 for ES, NQ is 33,000, day trade is 500 and 1,000. So basically, like I said, this is for the day trade margins. They offer these reduced margins for both the day session. So as a scalper or as a day trader, I don't carry my positions between 4:45 p.m. until 6 p.m. because there's no PDT. I can always re-enter, okay? So I would be using the day trade margins, okay? So I can enter a position at 6 p.m. Eastern and hold it all the way to the next day, 4:45 p.m. Eastern if I wanted to. That's considered a day trade margin. But if you just want to hold that hour and a half, then you have to use this initial margin. So NQ is $1,000, and you can basically hold it for almost 23 hours. But to carry it over for that hour and 15 minutes, for one NQ, it's 33,000. I mean, you can kind of do the whatever makes sense for you, I suppose. Micros are actually pretty affordable. So, and the third way of trading futures is through trading prop firms. Now, basically, if you utilize a finance partner known as Tradeify or Apex Trader funding, Take Profit Trader, the Futures Desk, Top Step, or My Funded Futures. There are many, many others. There's like 70 or 80 different prop firms out there. I have like 20 or so that I like, and then I also have like top 10 that are just my always go-to, no matter what. But some of them require one-day pass, such as Tradeify. They'll have like a one-day pass. Apex right now has an 80% off and a one-day pass promo until I believe tomorrow night. But Top Step, for example, has a 2-day minimum evaluation, so you can get funded in as little as 2 days. Take Profit Trader has 5 days. So it just, I'll use Apex Trader funding as an example. So basically, how it works. So you demonstrate to the prop firm that you are a successful trader. You must pay for to enter the evaluation, which is a sim account. Okay. If you succeed, you will then be given a funded account to trade with, and you pay the activation fee. Also, some firms don't have activation fees, and others do. Some have where it's cheaper to or less expensive to do the evaluation test, and if you pass, then there's an activation fee. Others will just kind of put it all in one. If you pass it, it might be a little bit more expensive, but if you pass it, then there's no activation fee. So it depends on accounts and on prop firms. Some offer both. So just kind of got to check that out and do your due diligence. But basically, you keep all of the proceeds up to $25,000. You keep 90% of the profit after the first $25,000 you earn, while they keep 10%. Okay, so you want to, like I said, see the prop firm rules of whatever prop firm you're utilizing. Also, some people get multiple accounts when on discount so they can trade them at the same time. There is a trade copier that you can use, and each account must pass the performance evaluation on its own because they're all standalone accounts. So this said that you can pass it in 1 day or 5 days or whatever it is. You do not have to pass it in 1 day or in 2 days. In fact, I suggest that you take your time in passing, because those habits will transfer over into your funded accounts. If you're trying to rush through passing these accounts, it will show up on the other side as well. So take your time, get consistent with it. You can take the evaluation as many times as you want. If you fail, don't be down on yourself, because majority of people will fail their first or second or whatever evaluation. Okay, we know that 95% of traders fail. So now, is this too good to be true? Not really. Most traders fail due to lack of discipline. And this is how these companies make money. So if you don't, if you know how to trade a chart, or basically utilize technical analysis, you can read the price action, stay disciplined, or or consistent, manage your risk, you're going to make money. Okay, there are restrictions that are placed, but you will be able to get through those. They're not as bad as some people make it sound. I think that a lot of people don't read the rules and then they get upset. So the purpose is get to know the rules beforehand so you know what you can and can't do. And you guys have seen it, I'm sure, all over social media or everywhere, that you are in your Discord communities or whatever it is. People are pulling money out of these firms, but they're also consistent. So the worst that can happen to you is you lose your seed capital evaluation fee. You do not pay back any capital. You, like I said, you can take these evaluations as many times. It's not just once and that's it. And I also want to mention that you do not get to keep any money in the evaluation or your testing account, because it's just that. It's a test to see if you're going to meet the, the rules or the goals. Um, you can also trade your own funded accounts, so self-funded accounts with, NinjaTrader, like with Trade-O-Eight. You just have to sign up for a personal account and fund it yourself, and then you can connect all of your prop firms that allow, let's say, Trade-O-Eight. You can connect them all together and trade them, one click, one chart, and then it duplicates it all into, whatever you have, 10 accounts, 15 accounts, whatever it is. But if you're a beginner, I do not suggest anyone trying to do trade copy. Get consistent with one account and then, scale up. Okay. So this here is from Take Profit Trader, but basically, why prop firm versus trading your own money? So all of the technology, the live data and account setup is done by them. There's no documentation or any painful account setup experiences. And also, simply put, most traders are undercapitalized. They level the playing field by using, these accounts, not your own funds. Trading your own funds can lead to severe losses. However, with Take Profit Trader, your losses are limited to the associated challenge fees. And lack of discipline haunts traders. So the risk management system and rules will make sure that you stay disciplined during the trades. Okay, let me pull up. I keep forgetting to add this in there, but this year's from Apex, and I'll use them as an example because most of these firms have similar profit or goals when it comes to meeting to get to the funded stage. Okay, so let's say you have a 50K account. You have a profit goal of $3,000. Your trailing threshold is $2,500. So basically, the goal is you meet this profit and you don't go below your 2,500, you're going to pass your account. They don't have a consistency during the evaluation phase. And right now they've got like a 1-day pass. So let's say tomorrow, I'm just going to give you guys an example. Tomorrow during the day, I don't know, you get a 50K account and you pass it. Tomorrow night after the market closes and then reopens, you're going to get an email saying, hey, congratulations, you passed your evaluation. And then you sign up and they will send you a new account to basically sign that you are their contractor. So at that point, you are basically their contractor. And, whatever money you make in there, obviously, if you don't go below your, threshold and this and that, if you follow the rules, then that's the money you get to keep. Okay. Some firms have a certain amount of days that you have to trade, and that typically comes more in when you are in funded accounts, but some also have it, like for example, Top Step, they have where you have to trade at least 2 days, and you cannot make more than 50% in one day. So this is Take Profit Trader. They've got daily withdrawals, but same thing, 3,000 for a 50K account. Profit is 3,000. Don't go below, 2,000. So now there's one different type of an account, which is through Tradeify, and Tradeify has here on the left, they've got two types of evaluations. However, they also have a thing called straight to sim funded, which means you skip that whole evaluation. You go straight to the, there's no testing or anything. Now, obviously, these fees that are here are not, those are not the fees because they actually have a 40% off. So it would be a lot less. And you just, you follow the rules. You get, I think for 150K right now, the trailing amount is $6,000 and it's end of the day. So whatever you make in that account or, in your straight to sim funded or lightning account is what they call it now. That's what you get to keep. So you don't have to actually do testing or evaluation. Now this right here, going to explain to you guys. This is one of the things that a lot of traders don't understand, and so it's the drawdown. Okay, this is very important to learn. There are three different types of drawdowns. There's the intraday trailing. Your drawdown limit moves up. So I'll do that one first, which is at the left side. Your drawdown moves up with your balance throughout the day, but resets to the daily starting balance each day. Okay, so how does that work? So on a 50K account, let's say you have a $3,000 drawdown. Okay, so your day starts 50,000, your drawdown is 47,000. At 10 a.m., you make $500 profit, which it brings your account up to 50,500, and your drawdown moves to 47,500. So let's say at 11 a.m. you make another 300, and your balance goes up to 50,800. Your drawdown moves up with it. It's that $3,000 between, and that's 47,800. So as you can see, it keeps moving up. Now, even if let's say you actually went up by another $200 and you were at 51,000, this drawdown would and you didn't, it was unrealized. Okay, so let's say you didn't realize it, this drawdown will move up with it, so it would be 48,000. Okay, so even if it's unrealized gains, the drawdown keeps moving up. Okay, so this is more for people that take base hits. They don't let their trade go up $1,000 and then let it come back all the way down, $1,000, because that goes against you. So, but let's say at 2 p.m. here you lose $400, so that's 50,400. Your drawdown stays at 47,800. It doesn't go down. The next day it resets to 50,400. Your drawdown is 47,800, which is $3,000 from the highest balance. And that's how the intraday works. This is more geared for, like I said, for scalpers or for those that take base hits. If you are more of a person that holds their trades, like you hold it all day, then end of day trailing is probably more for you. And how that works is your drawdown limit only moves up based on your ending balance at the close of each trading day. So again, you start at $50,000, $3,000 drawdown. Your day one starts 50,000. Your drawdown is 47,000. During the day, up to 51,500, then down to 50,800. Drawdown stays at 47,000 all day. It doesn't move because it's going to change later on. So let's say day one you close at 50,800. Now your drawdown is going to update to 47,800. Okay, so your day two start. Your balance is 50,800. Your drawdown is 47,800. And the third, now this is some people prefer this one quite a bit. I know a few of the firms that have it. Futures Desk has a pretty good one because it's pretty. The drawdown is pretty, like it can go up to $6,000 depending on the account that you get. But your drawdown limit is fixed based on the starting account balance, and it never changes. So, for example, 50K account with 6%, or 3K drawdown. Account starts at 50,000, drawdown is 47,000. Let's say week one, you grow to 55,000. Drawdown stays 47,000. Month one, grow to 60,000. Drawdown stays at 47,000. Okay. Month six, account is up to 75,000. Your drawdown is still 47,000. Now, reality check, you can still lose $28,000. If you lose $28,000 and you go below, that 47,000, you can breach your account. So that's kind of a little bit of the difference here. basically there's a little bit of comparison. You can kind of see what the evaluation fees, or sorry, evaluation rules are, because they're not all the same. Some have consistency during evaluations, and for example, like Apex does not. Take Profit Trader has it. However, um, when you get funded or when you pass your evaluation account, then Apex has a consistency rule, whereas like Take Profit Trader does not. So you just want to see, some of them have intraday trailing, some of them have end of day, some of them have both. Um, let's see, like you can multi-firm. I suppose if you do like a cost basis, so let's just do it auto applies. Actually, it's a flash sale now. Um, you can compare firms. Okay, let's do Top Step since it's a pretty popular one. And you can see for the same account size, profit is 3,000, drawdown is 2,000, end of day trailing, same thing. Tradeify ends up being total of $83, whereas Top Step 50K account ends up being $198. So yes, it's $49, but they also have a $149 activation fee. So you can add more firms if you just want to like pick whatever and compare. The consistency calculator here, so I've talked about some of the firms having a consistency. So let's use Top Step as an example. They have a 50% in the evaluation. So what that basically means, if you have a $3,000 profit, your best day, let's just say your best day is in one day you made $1,700. You're over 56%. So it means that you need to be under 50% or less. So if you made $1,500 or less in one day, then that would be fine. You would pass the account. And so you can utilize that to kind of help you with consistency. Where is the back to the futures? Oh, actually, sorry. If you want to weed out, like for example, you only want to do static accounts, just to give you an example, you can select firms which are either trailing or static or end of day, minimum days, evaluations. You can actually do like a comprehensive analysis, and then each firm, scroll over there, it says full details. Click on that. It's going to give you all of the information, how to it's kind of everything that and then you can visit their website. So that's kind of a cool thing if you're like trying to figure out which firm to research or to go with. Okay, let me go back. Also, this Futures Basics, guys, this is in this little, this website is free. It's called propfirmtrend.com. All of it this is free, and it's always going to stay free. And if you go back to, if you need to go back to kind of see what I just went over, it's in there. There's more though. Okay, so this right here is called the Project X platform. A lot of the prop firms have their own. So like Top Step's going to have a Top Step X platform. Um, Futures Desk might have like FDX or something. I mean, whatever the names are, I can't remember all of them, but that just means it looks more like a trading view, if you guys can kind of see. And this is where you would execute your trades. Buy is if we're going long, and sell is if we are going short. Um, and then up here you would change, whether it's NQ or ES or whatever, you can play along with that. The next one is NinjaTrader platform. This is the one that I use, only because I actually trade with order flow footprint. This is what it is. Most people do not use order flow footprint. This gives me more of an edge when I'm trading, so I tend to use this. I would say 99% of people don't use it, so don't worry about that. Same thing, if you are going long, buy bid, buy market, buy ask. If you're selling, sell ask, sell market, whatever. One important thing that I want you guys to know is stop losses. This here is Trade-O-Vate platform. It's user friendly. You can add up as many charts as you want. You can also delete, customize it to your own liking. But buy market, we're going long. Sell market, we're going short. It takes a little bit of time, I guess, to get used to. You can also utilize this on the left. But here where it says ATM, you always want to have a stop loss. I cannot tell you guys how important it is to have a stop loss. Figure out what stop loss you want to have. If you're trading MNQ or NQ or ES, you're going to obviously have a little bit of a different stop loss between those instruments. But just last Friday, people who did not have stop losses, they got their accounts liquidated because those candles came in so fast. By the time you went to click close, you were pretty much liquidated. Because with these accounts, especially if you're trading prop firm accounts, if you get a 50K account, you don't actually have 50K. You need to look to see what your drawdown amount is. And if your drawdown amount is 2 grand, that's all you have it to play with, or if it's 5 grand. I typically trade only the bigger accounts, like the 150K, or Apex has the 300K accounts, only because it gives me more of a drawdown and more leverage to play, or more room to play with. And sizing is so important with these. So the key points, if you know how to chart, but whether you're using Fibonacci's, whether you're using moving averages, you know whatever, turtle soup. I don't even know some of the stuff people are using nowadays, but whatever you're using, you can use it with futures as well. While this might be considered, easier than options, it's in respect to deuteral Greeks, so your, contracts don't decay. Okay. However, most people and most of us struggle with risk management, FOMO, and mindset. And I'll go ahead and show you guys how to execute and all of that. But I do want to go back here to this trading psychology and risk setup. So when trading these, if you're new to trading, especially futures, guys, use the micros. Okay, use the MES, MNQ, all of that, MCL. Don't try to go, even if I say I'm long NQ, and you're listening, you're like, hey, I want to be long NQ2, you can do long on MNQ. It's the same thing, it's a different beast. I mean, it's a different value. MES is $5 per point versus ES $50 per point. So how would you size in? So let's say for MNQ, let's say you have a, I don't know, tooth, well, we can do, I don't know, let's say a 5,000 drawdown. You got a 150K account, I don't know. You want to risk 2%. Let's say you are trading, your entry price is 25,000. Your stop loss is 25,010. It's going to calculate for, risk. This is per position, okay? So each time you take a trade, if you're risking anywhere between 2 to 5, 5 is a little bit more aggressive. You want to use that with higher conviction setups. So you can do 12 contracts of MNQ, okay? Because you're risking $250. However, most people will do 15%, 20%, 50% each time they get into a trade. Now, that's the account destruction zone. 15% risk is gambling, it's not trading. Okay? Because it just takes a few losing trades to basically destroy your account. And if you're not using a stop loss, that's even a higher risk of getting your account liquidated. And the issue with that I see over the past 3 years, I own a Discord. I've coached thousands of people. I've taught thousands of people how to trade this. I've been doing this for years, these webinars, and 99%, well, maybe 95% of the time, people lose their accounts because they over leverage. And, that's, and then you go in a tilt and then you're trying to get it back and all of that, right? But if you are sizing in the rights, from the beginning, then you're going to be okay. So what? You take a loss, not a big deal. You can make that up. It's not. It's easier to make up, $250 than try to make up $2,500. So also, use trading journals. Like here, this is free. All of it is free. You can import your CSV, and actually you can go up here and get a premium free journaling. Can go through and look at your trading growth calculator. Look how much you're risking. This is another thing that I see people will risk. For example, they'll have a stop loss of 20 points or 30 points, but their take profit is 10 points. That's not how this works. Your risk to reward ratio, if you're risking $500, to make $1,000, that's fine. That's, but if you're risking $1,000 to make $500, that's the opposite way. So even with a good ratio example, your hit rate can be 35 or 40%. But with a bad example, your hit rate better be over 75%. And again, you can calculate it here too. But and then another thing is when we're trading futures, where is the here trading resources? You always want to go to before you take any trades, check the economic calendar. So some firms will let you trade news, others will not. Okay. Right now, like we don't have, obviously the government shut down. So a lot of this is basically just hanging around waiting for the government to open. But sorry. You need to watch for red folders. You can also go to forex.com or sorry, forexfactory.com. It will show you on there what we've got coming up. If your earnings is coming up. So if you're trading NASDAQ or one of those, the market closes for options, but we still can trade futures. A lot of times when Microsoft does, after Microsoft does their earnings reports. So you'd want to also check, earnings. And then in the morning, I always check the news, read to see what happened overnight from yesterday, what happened to the markets, and then also real-time financial, aggregator, which is Financial Juice. Have that on deck when you're trading because, you got to treat this as a business, and you have to, the more you know, the better you're going to be. You know, if you're stuck in going in circles, it's, you got to fix it. And you know, it's kind of like running a business without accounting, without a computer, without whatever it is, and just winging it. But that's not how trading works if you want to be a serious trader. So let me actually, I have my demo account pulled up, so I'm going to show you guys here. So this is NQ. I'm going to just make this larger. So notice how here we're trading at 24,912. Now see how it keeps moving in 0.25, 0.75. So NQ and ES, $1 move has 4 ticks, and those ticks are in 0.25. So in every 25 cents it moves, it's a tick. $1 move is a point. So let's say I'm just gonna, you know, I want to go short. Okay, so you can do sell ask until it hits it. It's not going to. So let's say I cancel that. I want to really just get in right now. Okay. Now see how I have a stop? I can move this stop, you know, but I can move it this way. I can, whatever it is. Technically, you should move your stop. Let it be. So calculate what, you know, mine is pretty tight. I use 50 ticks the first 10 to 15 minutes of the market, and then I actually move my stop loss down to 40 ticks, which is even tighter. Because all I need, if I'm risking 10 points, then I need to make at least 10 points for my risk to reward ratio, right? But my hit is usually, you know, 10 points or more. So I start scaling out at 10 points. So the point is that if you have a stop loss, you're going to be fine. If you don't have a stop loss, the market will auto liquidate you, and that's going to be your stop loss. So now see how, you know, it's up 2.5 points. So 2 points is $40. Okay. But this is Globex trading right now, or Asia trading. Truth is there is not, there's not much volume. So it's just kind of, you know, jumping around, and that's why I personally don't trade it. There's no point. But as you can see, each dollar that it moves, whether it's, you know, in the right direction or the wrong direction, it's $20. Each tick is, let's see, I'm just going to close this and I'll switch over to ES to show you guys the difference between that. Okay, so each dollar that ES moves is $50. And okay, let's just go long. Okay, again, this is Globex, so it doesn't matter. But I can adjust my, you know, if I get wicked out and it's still like in my direction, I will just re-enter. It's not a big deal. There's no PDT. I can get in and get out as many times. But if my stop loss is down here and a Trump candle comes through, you better believe it's going to take me a lot longer to make that money back. And I hear it every single day. You know, what they do is, let's say they went in with 2 contracts and now they didn't have a stop loss because they're like, hey, it's just 2 contracts. Well, they're down quite a bit. Then they're going to double or triple or quadruple or full port to make that money back. And then you go in a tilt, and it just kind of snowballs. So always have a plan, and plan your trades and trade your plan. So if you can see up here, this each tick moves $12.50. So 1 point is 50 bucks. Okay. That's pretty much it, guys. I mean, it's, if you do the micros, which is the, let's pull up the micros, MES. Nope, that's not MES. What the heck did I bring up? Micros, MES. There we go. So pretty much same chart, just the micro version of it. It moves in $1.25. So each tick is $1.25. Each point is $5. And also, let's say I entered long, but I really wanted to go short, just to give you as an example. If you hit reverse, it'll reverse your position. And like I said, you can always move your stop. You can trail your stop as you know you're in profit, but don't ever go in without a stop loss. That's a rookie mistake. So, all right, let's see. Did I miss anything? I don't think I did. Are you guys still here with me? Am I talking to myself? Where's the stream, you guys? Okay. All right. What? That ponytail? What? I don't know. We're here. Okay. All right. Somebody said, I can't believe you wasted an hour of your day. Why? Oh, so I'm having trolls that are cute. Actually, you're the one wasting your time. Anyway. Can you give away McDonald's gift cards? You know what, Steve? I think I might start doing those too, like, you know, give away some Starbucks and McDonald's and stuff like that. It might be worth more than an Apex account in value, right? What's my favorite prop firm? So that it actually depends. Whoops, where is my... I have a few that are my go-tos. And I'll show you the difference and why. So Apex Trader Funding, you know, I can have up to 20 accounts trading with them. And a lot of times they have deals like right now. Actually, let me pull up the calculator and see. You just go to Apex. Let's just say, whoops, 50K account, 80% off. It's $29. Okay, so their accounts are fairly inexpensive, especially if you're brand new and you're learning. You know, I don't care if I, you know, lose 30 bucks, right? So, and also, like I said, they give 20 accounts total, so I can trade copy 20 accounts at the same time. My other one is Tradeify, straight to sim funded, and I can basically skip the evaluation. And so these two are my accounts that I build more kind of like longer term, and you know, pull money out like that. Take Profit Trader and the futures desk. So Take Profit Trader has daily withdrawals. Also, once you're funded, there's no consistency. So every single day, as long as you're over your buffer, you can pull money out. And then same thing with Futures Desk. They have an amazing static account, and I can also, once you pass your account, you are able to withdraw daily. Minimum amount to withdraw is $100, and you can. There's no cap, so there's no rules really. Once you get to the funded account, so those are like my favorite ones. Um, Alpha Futures, they've got you can pull out 15 grand at a time from their accounts. So, and then these other ones have like pass in 1 day, zero activation on most of the plans. And like the Funded Futures Network has a deal right now where it's um, buy one, get one free and no activation fee. So actually, if you go into the hot deals, you can get basically 2 accounts without an activation fee for really for an where is it? It's inexpensive. I can't find it. Maybe I didn't put it on here. Or maybe I can't see. Okay, I need to fix that. So those are, that's why I have them featured, because these are the ones that are my go-tos. There are many here that are also good. Top Step, I don't trade anymore because they moved away from Tradeovate and NinjaTrader, so I can't link up this to my accounts. I'd have to trade on their platform. And then there's also quite a bit of firms. So here, like comprehensive firms, there's a lot of firms here. So the survival rate of these firms is like 86%. There's a lot of them that are not on my list, but that doesn't mean, it's just that I have not personally used them and I have not personally vetted them. Some of the closed ones are on here as well. So, you just got to do your own due diligence, guys, regardless of even no matter what, I don't, for example, Top Step is on here, but I don't have an affiliate with Top Step. There's a lot of that I don't have an affiliate with, but they're still here for you guys to compare with because, if it's a good firm, it's a good firm. I don't use it just because, like I said, I can't use it with. So their platform right now is just Top Step X. Okay, let's see what else. W is in the chat. We're here, here, here. Is there any way to reverse trade at stop loss? I mean, yeah, if you hit the reverse button, if that's what you want to do. I personally don't. If I'm stopped out, I'm going to just get out and wait for a re-entry. Where's Rizzo? He needs to learn the basics. Just getting ahead on an amazing day. Oh, you made 30K trading ES today with Rizzo. Nice job. It's freaking amazing. Rizzo is a killer, guys. He's the most humble trader out there. He does not flex, because if he flexed, he would blow all of those everybody out of the water combined together. He's a very humble guy. So, any other questions that you guys might have? Just trying to figure out how to block that troll. Oh, there's 834 of you on here. Alrighty. So let's do some giveaways. What's Rizzo's X? Rizzo's X is RIZZO underscore trades. I think if you look at my, actually, just look at my tweet, my last tweet. Oh, also guys, so Tradeify is having a competition in starting in 2 weeks, and it's the oh, I can't log into my, hang on. It's $200,000 in yeah. Let me see what the rules are. Okay. So the reward pool is over $1 million. The grand reward is $200,000. And then they'll also have like team rewards of 25K per team, to be kind of, 400 traders are going to earn cash rewards, and we're going to trade as a team with Rizzo. So if you go onto my thing, you can see his username on there. But Tradeify, they have is it 50K? They have 40% off right now. No, that's not the account. Advanced. Yeah, so there's a 30, if you've never been with Tradeify before, there's a $35 entry fee for the competition, or you can actually get yourself an account, also trade the account, and enter the competition. It's 35 bucks. You know, you don't have to pay the 35 bucks if you get yourself an account, which is like $41 actually. And that's if you use my code, guys. But let's see. Yeah, Rizzo Trades is his handle. Yeah, he trades all the time. Like, I think he's in a trade right now. Let's see. Oh, no, he's not. Alrighty. Thank you. Traders Wealth Lounge is awesome. All right, let me do some, so I don't keep you guys or myself here. I'm going to do a trivia. Just have to figure out which one or what to ask you guys. Where is the thing? All right, hang on. Let's see. All right. What does how much is a tick for CL for oil? Anybody? Yes, Brian. Oh, Scott and Brian. All right, you both win. Okay. I'll ask one more for a. So you two will win Apex accounts, and I'll do one more for. Actually, I'll do two more for Traders Wealth Lounge. Premium for 30 days. Yeah, that was almost simultaneous, right? Let's see. What's the difference between? Nah, that's going to be a little too hard to. What's the smallest price movement called that a futures contract can make? Two people that are not part of TWL, and you'll get a month of. Yes, Emmanuel. Alex. All right, Emmanuel and Kevin. Y'all can thank Alex right there. Can you two DM me, please, for Kevin and Emmanuel for TWL, and Brian and Scott for the Apex accounts? And that's it, guys. Y'all have any questions? Yeah, sure, on X. Yep. All right, guys. Well, thanks for stopping by. Hope you guys learned something new. Good night. See y'all tomorrow. Live trading here on X and Discord.